And I mean, look at all the kinetic energy going on around the Tomorrowland leg of the trip. You see Tomorrowland 1967 to 1997. So cool. Yeah. And here we're going on the return. We're on the return leg right now.
That's cool. Oh,
there he is.
Welcome you to the happiest and most magical land in Disney.
Hello and welcome everyone. Welcome GF.
Yeah, Jeff.
Welcome Steve.
Well, hey everybody. Glad to be here.
You guys getting affected by all the snow?
No, last week there was a storm. No, like sometime during this week. I mean, there was tornado, not watch, warning.
Yeah.
But so I took in my lawn furniture because I didn't want to like fly away and bust out my neighbor's windows. And
your neighbor has new furniture.
Yeah, it was fine. We did okay. We're okay.
That's good.
But Steve's got some snow.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Steve's got like negative temperatures.
Yeah. Today was -9, and right now it's 1. So
wow.
And our heater the gas company's having issues with supplying gas, so I have my garage heater in the room keeping me warm.
You're gonna be okay, right? Like you're gonna.
Yeah,
he's fine. Captain America was frozen for a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll just get stronger. Like you'll pop into 50 in the future,
bigger and bigger and bigger.
You'll be the sex symbol. Like and be like, whoa.
Steve can do this all day.
I could do this all day.
On your left.
I just don't have my my shield.
Yeah, I got it over here.
You have it. Yeah,
I have your hat.
It's warming you by the fire.
And you're Iron Man, so you made my shield.
Yeah.
So, or your dad
technically
did.
My dad did. So.
Yeah.
So we have a guest.
Yes.
Who is I was thinking about this. I guess it's not technically he's not our first viewer on this. Like, I think that would be Pirate Christy, technically, or Christy even.
Yeah.
But we have Lewis on here.
Yeah, Lewis,
who was a customer of mine way back, like a couple of years now, I guess. I bought a sign for me, custom sign actually, which is pretty cool to make. So how are we doing?
Absolutely lovely. I'm doing well, thank you.
Cool.
I'm very happy to be here.
I'm glad that we finally got you on, and it's been a little bit since we had one on the weekend, because I know that's like kind of your thing that we can get you available on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I have a day job. Yes.
Yeah. I do too, except I work from home, so I can get on this all the time. So you're on the East Coast too. No snow for you though.
Oh, plenty of snow outside. Okay. Absolutely. Plenty of it.
Just not as bad as Steve's temperatures.
Fortunately, not as bad as Steve. Yes. Which I feel really bad for Steve right now that he's having to deal with like space heaters in his room. It's not good.
Yeah. Thank you.
And by space heaters, we don't mean space heaters. We mean like just regular heaters.
No, I mean he's in the space.
They're just like a stormtrooper overlay. So,
well, what I mean is a plug-in heater you plug into the wall, and
these days they don't know what that is.
And it heats so much cubic feet of space. That's what I'm talking about. Space heater.
Oh, okay. So
personal
space.
Space,
no. It's not officially Star Wars branded, but
no.
But it does look like a Star Wars heater. It glows orange, and
right.
They should have. Why is that not a thing? Where it's got like the holes that look like it's on the back of the wall, you know? Like
yeah,
that would be kind of.
I'm actually gonna be building that. I want to put that back here.
Oh, the lights.
Yeah. So you made a miniature version of that, and I want to make
a doorway size.
Well, from ceiling to floor.
Yeah.
So
full scale.
Yeah, full scale.
That'd be kind of
stay warm, friend. Stay warm.
Yeah.
Stay thirsty. Oh wait.
Yeah.
So Lewis, what ride are we doing?
I was hoping we could do today. We could do the Skyway to Tomorrowland, please.
And,
Big fan
Cool.
of the attraction. Big fan of
Right.
Robbie Von Roll, who helped create the Skyway ropeway attraction for both Disneyland Resort and for the Magic Kingdom at Walt Disney World. Just been a big fan for years. I'm really sad when it went away in 1994 after the Northridge earthquake. And then, of course, Walt Disney World took theirs down a couple of years later. And then, you know, what, I think 5 years ago, they replaced it with that monstrosity down there called the Skyliner, which really upscaled everything and beefed it up and turned it from a 4-person open top cabin into this like ski resort looking thing that
Yeah.
it's pretty incredible. I mean, I've been on both the Skyliner and of course Skyway at both parks. I like the Skyway better because it just harkens back to when things were just better. If you don't mind me saying so. It was just better back then.
Yeah, and
80s and 90s.
yeah,
Yeah.
when it was like a ride, and now it's like an actual transportation thing. So
Motor
that's why
transportation, right.
it's bigger.
Right.
Plus, the
Right.
updated version was designed by Bob Burger. So
Yes. Well, I know that Bob Gurr redesigned the buckets
yeah,
when they were replaced from 1965 to 1966.
Yeah.
I know that he did the second generation bucket iteration, which
Yeah.
as you know, are like pretty collectible now.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you guys follow Robbie Von Roll on Facebook or not, but he's still out there. He's miniaturized his system now.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
He can do miniature, like, you know, Justin Scared.
Scarred,
He
yeah.
did this big old long storyline with him and Robbie and how they talked about the miniature ropeway that's at Robbie's house in Vildemar, which is near
Yeah.
Lake Elsinore.
He used to live close to me when I lived in Temecula. Yeah,
And so, like, he's got this whole rig set up in his backyard.
it's so cool.
Now he's selling miniature ropeways to like interested customers.
oh, is he really?
Pretty cool
I
thing.
didn't know that.
But it's all
Yeah.
it's been downscaled from the full scale version at the parks now to a, I guess, home consumer friendly version, so to speak.
Yeah.
But that's neither here nor there. The cool thing is, though, is that buckets still pop up from time to full scale buckets still pop up from time to time, like at Van Eaton and a couple of the other auction sites. A little pricey, but definitely not beyond the realm of possibility like it would be with like a people mover car unit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right.
Like, I mean, for the magical price of about $5,000, you can definitely get into a pristine condition second generation bucket,
Yeah.
as opposed to, let's say, $15,000 for a one car unit people mover rig. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, we saw those over at the Van Oak in Sherman Oaks.
Yeah,
They
the
had
Van Eaton
yeah.
Gallery, right. Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
Alex Historian, LMG Vids, and I went over there and looked at all the stuff they had.
Right.
So that was a lot of fun.
Magical
Yeah.
Toyland is what that is.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They even had the sea serpent from the submarines in there.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
So the first iteration from the submarine voyage
Yep.
before it became Finding Nemo and Friends. Oh, okay,
exactly.
cool.
Yeah.
Wow,
I
that's
do.
so cool.
It was so neat. That thing was huge too.
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm figuring it has to be at least what 10 meters long by
Yeah.
What?
Well, it was
like,
like 30 feet.
2 meters
Yeah.
high. I mean, it's like a big old
Yeah,
figure. Yeah.
I took pictures of it, so I had to stand pretty far back to get the entire.
Oh yeah.
The-
Sure.
I said that's when Bob went there and he took photos of himself sitting in People Mover and Skyway and all that.
Oh, he did? I
Yeah.
didn't. Yeah, I saw that People Mover thing in there. That was really cool to see, and the Skyway bucket. Because
Right.
I have a picture of Alex in the Skyway bucket, and what did I do? I put him above Chris at the Great Wall of China, like hanging over. And they're like,
Right.
he's like looking at Chris and stuff. It's
Well,
pretty funny.
you guys remember the old Alex graphics on his old program where it's actually him in a adventure through inner space omnimover vehicle?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And he's like waving, and it's like really, really cool. And then he's got the other one with him and Matterhorn Matt on the bobsled.
And the bobsled, yeah.
Yes, I mean, so that I'd be really cool to see if like Van Eaton ever got their hands on an adventure through inner space omnimover vehicle.
That would be cool.
That'd be cool too.
Yeah.
I mean, because as you know, the Doom buggies, which more or less that's what an Atommobile is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Except
Yeah.
it's all texture painted and that.
Yeah, it was blue.
Yes, it was that
Yeah.
beautiful like electric blue color, like an
Yeah.
old Opel Manta vehicle. You know what I mean? Way back in the day.
Yeah. Did I don't know? Did the Adventures Through Inner Space turn though?
Yeah,
was
it's
it
into
just?
Star Tours.
Yeah.
It's now
No, I
Star
mean,
Tours. Yeah.
did they rotate or was that just
The
Oh,
vehicles-
yes,
yeah, they
absolutely,
turn.
absolutely.
I can't remember, yeah.
They rotated about 270 degrees in an arc. They didn't do an entire 360, but they did about 270 degrees.
right?
So look at different points of the ride
Right.
attraction as you're going through it. In fact, one of these days we should do a program on Adventures Through Inner Space.
That would be fun.
That
Yeah,
would
we
be
should.
fun.
Yeah.
I
and
know there's a
there
video
is-
out there. I've seen one.
And there is a couple videos out there, but it's nothing that's full walkthrough. It's or ride
Yeah.
through. It's segmented because you got to understand that home video was still kind of in its infancy
Yeah.
when the ride closed in 1985. Last part of 1985. That's when it closed.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Magnification.
Well, Paul Frees, the voice of Disneyland.
Paul Frees,
doing the
yeah.
narration. I mean, it's like awesome, you know? I mean, especially like, I remember when I was a little child and I went on it, I remember him saying Monsanto.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? At the end. And it's always stuck with me ever from that day to this. You know what I mean?
You can't make it out, but that's the patent right there.
Oh, on your
Yeah. Signed by Bob Dirk.
Oh,
Is
the
it really?
The Omnimover
Oh,
system?
Yeah.
That's cool. Very cool.
All right. Well, let's get into this video. It's actually
Excellent.
rather short, but
All right.
you know,
Exciting.
it's going to open up the conversation. So
cool.
already has.
And what year? What year was this? 1994?
1994.
94.
Perfect. Oh, I'm so happy for this then.
So this is
I have home movies from 1990 when my first trip to Disney, and it's like the parade, and I think these snapshots and time is just perfect. I love it.
Yeah.
I'm so excited. All right, let's go.
This video, I mean, I'm not going to give it away, but I already said some stuff.
Ooh, Lord.
The things that
I'm excited.
the things that this shows is awesome. So
Yep.
good find on Lewis's part.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Great. Wonderful. Wonderful.
All right, here we go.
Okay. All right.
So Jeff, there's only 3 steps left that in reality right now from the steps that go up to this chalet.
Oh. Oh man.
Yeah, I missed this.
Here we go.
Yeah.
How fun.
We.
Whoa! Wow! Wow! Wow!
They'll
Whoa!
Casey Jr.
No.
I wonder if there's
Beautiful,
Oh, this is
beautiful
nice.
shot of Storybook Canal.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
just what a
There's the
snapshot
Dumbo.
in time. Yeah, beautiful. Like, you know,
Was
I
this-
remember. Yeah, go
Was
ahead.
this before Pinocchio?
No,
Down
this
below?
is 1994. So the Pinocchio's off to the left right now.
So it's already
of the
there?
car.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's absolutely there.
Yeah.
1983.
Where,
Oh,
So
okay.
how do we get this footage? Like, where did it come from? And
We found it on YouTube.
Excellent.
Yeah, I will put the link in the description so they
Yeah.
get credit.
Awesome, Jason.
Yeah.
To King Arthur's Carousel.
Wow.
To
I mean,
see an elephant fly.
how fun.
Dig for diamonds
Yeah.
in the dwarf's gold mine.
And I mean, what's really cool about the second generation buckets is they're so much bigger than the first Jenny. You
Yeah.
know,
Well, and then the shape too.
Yeah,
Right,
because
and
it's based off the
Right.
people mover shape. So
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Hmm.
That's still there.
Yeah, that's very true.
Absolutely.
Look how open everything looked.
I know.
Yeah, everything seems just like that's how life was back in those days before,
Yep.
you know, mass population and, you know, everyone.
Annual passes.
Wow. And I mean,
Yeah,
and
don't
right
get me
now,
started.
clearly the Matterhorn still has 2 holes in it, which is
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
Remember those days.
That's
Is
my
there-
fir- I-
There's Harold.
Do you remember
There's Harold.
going through here and you feel that breeze?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Blast of Arctic air, yes.
Yep.
It was like a wind tunnel almost.
You're like, oh,
Yeah.
Here's the
That's-
people we were going down the hill.
That's that steepest hill from the people mover.
Right.
Oh, wow,
Back when
that's
it used to be
cool.
part of the Holiday Hill in the first generation.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yes, part of that area where the Matterhorn is now used to be
Yeah.
Holiday Hill.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, Holiday Hill.
Now it
See,
is
that's
time
where
to
the
show you what
Astrojets
the
need
world
to
of
stay.
tomorrow.
Back there.
Oh, instead of that
Fantastic atomic power
sculpture that doesn't work anymore. Right.
Yeah,
The world is
whatever
unified
that
and peaceful.
thing is.
Outer space is the new frontier.
Well,
We will
WDI
become
calls it a
strange
kinetic
and
energy
wonders
structure
of the
or
world.
Mhm.
sculpture, but it never works or whatever.
It doesn't even move anymore. Oh yeah,
Right,
I remember
it
the
doesn't move anymore.
escalators to the monorail.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember
Oh.
that.
Yep. These are some great detailed shots of the track layout.
Oh yeah, Autopia. Do you
course-
remember
and-
going this direction in Autopia? So there was the 2 Autopias.
Right. You had doggone Tomorrowland,
Yeah,
which moved in counterclockwise, and then you had Fantasyland moved in a clockwise.
Yep.
Awesome.
It was so neat.
And I mean, look at all the kinetic energy going
Yeah,
on
I
around
know.
Yeah.
the Tomorrowland leg of the trip. You see the people movers operating,
Yeah.
the
That's where we got stuck, right
monorails
there.
running, the Autopia, the
The
submarines,
subs.
the
Yep.
rocket
Yeah.
jets. I mean, everything's in motion. That's what makes it so cool about
Yeah.
Tomorrowland 1967 to 1997. So cool.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
here
yeah,
we're going on the
to-
return. We're on the
There-
return leg
Yeah,
right now.
that's
there.
cool. Oh
There's
yeah,
another
there he
shot,
is.
Welcome you to the happiest and most magical land in Disneyland.
And the people mover.
And you can tell by the shots the age that the people mover cars are now in their, I guess, last generation livery with the gray exteriors
Oh,
with
right. Yeah.
with the color stripe running down the
That stripe,
center. Right.
It's a racing stripe because they went so fast.
Right. Of course. A lot faster than anything going right now.
Yeah.
Or fly an elephant high above the ground.
You know, the birds.
Oh, the crows are still there.
Very much so.
You can even follow
And then that's
Yeah,
Peter
there's
Pan.
the-
That's the Peter Pan's flight spire with the ship on it.
A lot of the rides have one of these on there.
Like that one.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
Like the Haunted Mansion and Pirates has one.
Yeah.
So the one with the crown, that's King Arthur's Carousel.
That's what I was gonna say. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Right. And the one with the ship obviously is Peter Pan, and then the one with, I think, the gypsy cart is Mr. Toad's Wild Ride.
Okay.
Oh.
Because I know
There it is.
I think Pirates is the one with the whale. One of them has a whale.
That's
Uh,
Pinocchio.
Is it Pinocchio? Oh, well, yeah, that
Pinocchio
makes
has the
sense.
whale.
Okay, that makes
Right.
sense.
I don't think Pirates has one.
Well, they have they
Pirates
used
of
to
the
have
Caribbean?
they
Yes,
used to
they
have
do.
a ship mast and
They
stuff.
have, yeah,
Yes.
yeah. They have a whole thing up there. But Haunted Mansion has a it is a ship, I think, as well, right?
Yes.
Because
I
of
think
the
so.
Three masted sailing ship. Yes.
That was cool.
Yes.
I miss those rides. The
Yeah.
extinct attractions.
You and me both.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that video is said to be continued because that family has like multiple parts of their trip.
Yes. Yes.
So I'm sorry I didn't get their name, but
But
Thank you.
whoever took that
We're doing
video did a really good job
Yeah.
because
Absolutely.
it was very
Stunning.
steady for having an older camera like that to keep
Yeah,
it steady like that.
There was another video we watched, and we said that too. Like amazingly how steady things were back then.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's now because they were on their shoulder, and now we're like holding it with our hands. So
Yeah.
we need more steady
Right.
cameras.
That's true. That's true.
But yeah, that was pretty cool.
I mean,
So that
it
was-
brings back a flood of memories from being, a kid, young adult,
Yep.
what have you, and just when you're like thinking about every trip you went to Disneyland as a young person. You're thinking about everything, not just the sights, but the sounds, the smells,
it's-
the tastes, the touches, all that stuff just come flooding back into your like collective memory bank, and it's a really wonderful bit of nostalgia, if you will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Think
how
about the
often-
Disneyland of the past.
How often do you get to the parks?
Oh gosh, last trip I made was to Walt Disney World almost 2 years ago.
Okay.
Last time I went to Disneyland was back in 2011. So
Oh wow.
I don't get as much out to DLRA as
Yeah.
I do like WDW.
Right. Well, yeah. The last
But I've
time,
also-
let's say the last time I was at WDW was over 20 years ago, just before Expedition
Wow.
Everest opened. Yeah. In fact, that was
A
the
lot
only
has
time,
changed.
so, yeah.
A lot has changed.
That's when I lived in Boston for a while. So
Cool.
now I'm back on the West Coast. So
Right.
yeah.
All right.
Right.
I'll be right back.
Do you want us to wait?
No, continue. Come on. You know the drill. Like sometimes
I don't know what that meant. So sure. Usually you just drop off.
You're
So
right.
if you're saying you're gonna wait, then
no, I'm not waiting. Go ahead. Continue.
okay.
Just don't get derailed.
Don't get derailed. You
It's one of
get
those D
derailed.
words. Like deflock, derail, whatever it is.
Oh, right.
Debarred.
I'll be right back. Just chill out.
Indeed.
Just give me a second. Good Lord. Just continue the conversation. It's a good conversation. Great conversation.
Right. So we're talking
Hurry
about
back.
Disneyland of the
Hurry
past.
back. There's no turning back now.
Oh no, there isn't. We're on a one-way trip. Nothing wrong with that.
My conversation got derailed from asking him.
So,
Yeah.
so Jason, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Were you able to experience that attraction that we just watched, or did you not have the
Oh
opportunity?
yeah. I've been on that.
Oh,
several
good,
times.
good,
Yeah,
good,
yeah.
good. Because I know
People
Steve
mover
has,
and-
Yeah.
and I know Jeff has. I just didn't know if you had. So,
yeah. I used to
oh, that's
go.
awesome.
I mean, quite often. I grew up in Redondo Beach, so
Oh, okay, yeah, it's right down the
yeah.
road.
And
Cool.
It's so funny. Jason and because we used to do the same thing. Is after work we would go
Yeah.
and just hang out there.
I was.
Oh,
And
okay.
both of us were like, Jason's like, I bet you we ran into
Over
each
there,
other
Yeah.
and saw each other, but we didn't know who we were.
It's
each
right.
other.
It's so funny how much
Yeah.
we're linked like that, because I was
Yeah.
just about to say that I lived in Huntington Beach and I would go there after work. But I was like, actually, I was in Huntington Beach during 9/11. So
Oh, wow. Okay.
right about that time, actually, the next year is when I moved to Boston. So,
Right.
but yeah, I was in Huntington Beach for like maybe 3.5 years or something after I graduated high school. So,
Oh, that's cool.
I mean, as a kid, I went to Disneyland all the time, but when I lived in Huntington Beach is when I really got my love, like, and respect for Walt as a person and what he did. And it's when I first had my annual pass and went to, like I said, we went there all the time. Just I go there and eat or just people watch and just kind of relax after work and all that. So,
Right. That's something we used to do when I was a little child. Was that back in the day, the admission was only like $1, $1.10 general admission to get into the park.
yeah.
And so we lived in Orange, which is right next to
Yeah.
Anaheim at
Yeah.
the time. And my dad would take me and my kid brother out to Disneyland on, I don't know, let's say a Sunday afternoon or whatever, and we'd go on a couple of rides. But we'd mainly go out there to just go to the shows and the parade and people watch and all the free stuff, you know, and yeah, it was a blast. I mean, absolutely. And then when I was 12, my mother got my kid brother and I annual passes because they were first introduced back then in 1983. And so, yeah, from like 1983 to 1987, I had an annual pass. So, oh, gosh, I've been to Disneyland over like 370 times.
Yeah.
In my lifetime. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
And it was only because of all those things that lined up, living close by, annual passes just got introduced. Things were relatively affordable in the 80s if you were like working class, low middle class people, and you were able to do like go every week, sometimes twice a week to DLRA and just have a great time, you know?
Yeah.
And that's definitely where I developed my love for Disney then.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I say, because we definitely weren't rich. We didn't have very much money, but we made it to Disney all the time.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And we were just saying this, like now, our friend Christy and her two kids went to Hawaii and stayed for a week, and it was cheaper than going to Disneyland. Like that's crazy.
Did they say?
Yeah.
Did they stay at Alani?
I don't think they stayed at Alani.
Oh, okay.
I might be wrong, but you know, either way, you're still paying for a flight and a hotel, and
yeah.
And it was cheaper. Like that's crazy.
Well, no, I mean, when my spouse and I went to Hawaii in 2018, and this is flying from Vermont to Oahu.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a lot cheaper going out there and spending a couple weeks out there than it would be flying from where we live in Vermont to John Wayne in Orange County, and then spending a week up there at the resort. Yeah, it would have been far cheaper. But it is what it is, you know?
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm just happy they still have magic keys. That's really cool. If you can afford one,
if
you know,
you
can even get it.
Right.
It's the stupid time.
I tried to the other couple of days ago and couldn't get in. So,
well, that's why you're so interested in the Disneyland Next, right? Because of the rumors of the third gate over there at the hotel complex, right?
Yeah, you mean Disneyland Forward?
Yeah, Disneyland Forward. Yes, like, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, because that's definitely going to ease some congestion and probably open up Magic Key access to the interested people.
Well, I mean, the other thing that would is if you got rid of Iger, because I guarantee you, if Peltz gets in there, that will all change.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, I'm not really tracking the whole leadership succession thing, but I know a lot of people have been talking about Amaro becoming the next
Josh.
CEO. Yeah, Josh Amaro.
Josh Amaro.
That would be interesting. I mean, I know when he was president of Disneyland, he was very like friendly and open guy to things. But now that he's kind of like in charge of
parks, resorts, and experiences,
all parks, right? So, I think he's been kind of led to do and say certain things, and it's not like it doesn't remind me of how he used to be. So, you know, if he became on there, it would be interesting to see how he is now. So absolutely. But I think
anybody be better than Iger, other than Bob Chapek, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, even then, like Iger, you know, he bought Fox, and then he like later here's a big problem. You got to try to make money, and that's what Chapek did. And we all blame him, and maybe he wasn't doing the best job, but I don't think he was any worse than Iger is right now. So
I don't know. I mean, I think Chapek oversold Disney Plus, oversold it.
Maybe,
you know. I mean, look, don't get me wrong, great platform, great content. It's just something that pisses me off, and I'm going to say it here on the internet because I want people to remember my words. And that is that when they initially offered the service. And I'm one of the first customers, like pre-customers. They promised us they were going to open the back catalog. Everything from 1923 to the present was going to be available on the service. it opens and it doesn't happen.
Right.
And sometimes we get dribs and drabs of like archived content, like from the 50s and from the 60s, from the 70s, but none of like, I don't know about you guys, but like a highlight of my young life was Sunday evenings after Lawrence Welk was watching The Wonderful World of Disney.
World
on
of
television.
Disney, yep.
You know what I mean? That was like
I
the
remember
highlight of
that.
my week.
I think we're the same age.
Possibly.
I'm probably older than you. I'm older than everybody
Possibly.
that comes on here.
And the age is 29 for all of our listeners.
Yeah.
just so you know.
Oh, I wish it was 29.
Thanks, Jeff.
I just wanted to
Just
set the
clarify in
record
case
straight.
Yeah.
no one knows.
Yeah.
So that's my problem with Chapek is he oversold it. And I think when it all came out that there were only so many millions of subscribers that were far short of their target, that's when the shareholders wanted action and they tossed him and brought Iger back.
Yeah.
Now here's a funny little Iger story. I'd also like to say this too. This is what I read. In fact, I think Chris McKay talked about it. And he said that Chapek had a huge problem with Iger because Iger had a shower installed in his office there up in Burbank.
I did hear this.
And Chapek was never able to use said shower, despite the fact that Bob Iger was no longer on premises.
Yeah. Well,
It's
just the fact
weird
that
as
he
hell.
still
That's
had the
funny.
office.
He didn't have the security clearance.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But I mean, here's the CEO office, and it's huge. And Iger leaves, and he's like, "This is still my office."
Right.
You find
So
your
weird.
own.
Exactly.
That's funny. That tells you right there that someone's position wasn't permanent, and someone would be coming back because he never really left. To be honest.
Since we watched the Disneyland Skyway, are we going to watch the Walt Disney World Skyway?
Should
Or
we?
no?
Is that possible, Jason?
Yeah, I mean, I guess we could. I gotta download it.
Okay,
Here,
time out.
Time out. Yeah.
So, Jeff, can you do Goofy's voice in languages other than English?
Yes, in the fact that I can be like, I can order a beer in Goofy's voice in German, or I could order a something in I don't know, Spanish maybe. I grew up in New Mexico, but it's very, very limited. And that's something my wife and I right now, she's on Duolingo all the time.
Yes.
She does it all the time. And I'm like,
Yes.
why? And I'm like, why am I not on that? Like, Spanish.
It's pretty cool.
It's
a cool
so
app.
cool. And
Yeah.
and
Yes.
it does make you not just marketable, but like, I have worked abroad doing Goofy's voice with people from France. And then I've talked to these people and they're like, well, what's Goofy's sound historically from France? They're like, well, we like Bill Farmer better, so we want you to mimic Bill, and we're okay with you doing English stuff. But it always makes me wonder, like, how cool would it be for me to sound like Goofy in their own language, their own voice? That just sounds
Exactly.
wonderful. And so that's something I want to grow in.
If you had the phrase, I mean, you could practice that over and over.
I know, and that's where you start. That in languages.
I mean, like if I think where Lewis is going, if he gave you something to say and you could practice it, and
like Lewis, do you have a phrase? Like, if you were me, where would you start? Like, what language? What do you think in your wisdom?
It's all based on your interest, Jeff. I myself, I've been on Duolingo for about 7 years now.
Oh wow!
And I'm studying German, so I'm kind of my bias, obviously.
Yeah,
but
economically speaking,
economically speaking,
yeah,
Spanish and Chinese are your best bets.
Mm-hmm.
As far as wanting to be economically viable to use your voice talents in a foreign language space, if you will.
Yeah.
That's where I would focus my study on, is either Spanish or Chinese. But again, German is really cool, and to actually have German Goofy.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'd start paying lots of money if I could give you a script and you could read it, and I
Yeah.
would have your recording. Absolutely, I'd be willing to pay. Oh gosh, hundreds of dollars for you to
A
say
sky
about a 30
bucket
second,
full.
about a 30-second spiel.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it would be non-political. It would be non-political. I mean, not looking for political stuff, but
Yeah.
you know, just to have that. Oh yes, the Goof's relatives are all over the world, not just in Spoonerville, Ohio.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you've ever been to Disneyland Paris, that would be really, really cool to have the Sensational Six have their voices, but
Yeah.
in French as
Yeah.
opposed to English, or
Right.
have them in Italian or German or Dutch
Right.
or Norwegian or Swedish or Finnish, what have you. It would be
Right.
really, really cool to actually being able to get on, let's say, an attraction like Mickey's Runaway Railway, for example, and instead
Right.
of having the narration in English, have it in your own language. And it would totally, but have them, instead of like the German language dub of, let's say, a Goofy movie,
Right.
which frankly speaking sucks because
I
I've
know.
watched it in both English and German.
I know. Yeah. People and people in
It would
that,
be
that
cool
you
to
know
have it.
Yeah.
It would be cool to have the actual, like, let's say you or Bill Farmer record Goofy's part as
Right.
Goofy in the German language.
Because
That
they're
would bring
not-
it up to its next level.
Yeah, because people, and like I've asked my friends, like for instance in France, I'm like, "Oh, who's the voice of Goofy there?" And they're like, "Yeah, so and so," and they drop me the voice. I'm like, "Who?" You know, it's not Goofy, but
No.
it's so to hear their own language, going back to what in at least close a voice match for what, and a lot of them are bilingual, so then they hear the American like, "Oh man, hey Maxley," and it just sounds so much richer and better, and that, yeah, you just got me excited. So okay, all right,
Good.
all right.
Okay.
I'm excited. Thank you for that. That
Thank you.
just lit a fire under me, and I think that's
So
wonderful.
Jason, you have the WDW version booted up
Yeah.
whenever you're ready.
Yeah. No, I was
Please.
gonna ask though, because I've never been to other parks. I don't think I've
DLP?
ever. I mean, international parks. Do they not try to do the voices at all? Like,
Okay,
different
so
things?
they do them so I've been to DLP and I've been to DLT and I've been to DS, right? I haven't been to Shanghai and I haven't been to Hong Kong. Long story, don't want to get into it. Point being is I've been to both Tokyo and Paris, and yes, Mickey, all the Sensational Six have French voices, Japanese voices, absolutely, but they don't sound like Jeff.
but they try
That's
to
true.
make it
That's true.
somewhat goofy or
No,
No,
they don't.
no,
they
they don't.
sound. They don't resemble like
anything.
the characters in the English language.
Hmm.
The best assimilation I can tell you is if you ever watch The Simpsons on Disney Plus, right?
Yeah.
You can watch on Disney Plus. You can watch it in something like 27 different languages.
Right,
You can watch
right.
The Simpsons 27 different languages. Go ahead and watch the German Simpsons versus the English Simpsons.
Yeah.
And you're literally gonna want to vomit.
Yeah.
Because Homer doesn't sound like
Sound
Hank
like
Azaria.
Homer. Yeah.
At all.
Nancy Cartwright doesn't sound like Nancy Cartwright.
Right.
They don't sound like themselves. They sound like disembodied, like Madame. What is that? Madame Leota. You know what I mean? It's all disembodied.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know? So again, if people like Jeff could learn the target languages and speak as their voice target in the target language,
Right.
oh my God, I'm seeing dollar signs and euro signs and yen signs flash before my eyes in like multiple profusion.
I just can't believe at this whole time that no one inside Disney has considered this, or they just don't care.
Oh, I'm
not
sure they
easy.
have. I'm sure
It's
they
not
have, but
easy.
There's nobody
But-
there. And,
yeah, but
and
you
like,
could
and I'll
I mean-
speak for a second. The voices in and of themselves are so difficult to reproduce, right? So
But you can have auditions and find somebody at least decently.
They do, and that's who wins. You know, so like even though that's the case, the truth is somebody who like some of these voices you would think like an average. Oh, that's not true.
An average Goofy. Sorry,
Goofy's voice is so hard.
I was because you're gonna say an average Joe or something.
An average, you know,
Yeah,
it's not. And then somebody who's bilingual. I think that's going back to our conversation a bit earlier. It's like it's so. I think that's dead on. It's like it's because number one, who can do Goofy is there's down, ups and downs, and that takes work. It takes it, and honestly, the Goofy voice found me. I didn't find it. So my voice is just I was born with ups and downs and ups and downs. And my great cousin was Pat Buttram, legal sheriff of Nottingham from so
Yes,
for
we know
me,
Pat Veteran is.
yeah, so going up and yeah, no.
Green
But,
Acres.
like, for me that up and down kind of register stuff was just natural. Well, guess what? A lot of people don't do that in voice acting, so it just sort of found me. That for me, that's how it was. I didn't try to shoehorn it into my life. It kind of found me. I'm like, oh my goodness, I was just singing
that's
to my
regret. So I think
yeah,
that's
no,
right there.
exactly. So
It's a
I was
wonderful talent.
singing to my Labrador in the car, and I'm like, well, do you need a break from modern living? And I was like, that doesn't sound that bad,
No.
I was like, of course. Well, I think I can do Goofy. I'm like, well, that doesn't sound too bad, and it didn't sound too bad, and so I just kept doing it, and but then when you can do that, that's one component. But then if you're bilingual, like maybe there's somebody who is bilingual in some other country that studies like English, and then they study Bill, and then they can pull it into their language. I just don't. That is tough, and I've never seen that. I've never seen anybody do that before. So the other option is to study Bill, but then to go bilingual and then to transpose it into there, which I think is equally great.
I mean, I wonder if
I
Bill
never thought of that
speaks
before.
any
So
other
this is really
languages.
good. Yeah, I just never thought of that before. So this is like, that was really good. I'm like, man.
No, yeah, it's good. As I was saying, that maybe that's your end.
What the heck is that? Oh, that's your
Doing Duolingo. Leave me alone.
Yeah.
Come on.
What do you, Dar? What do you, Dar?
I'm doing okay.
Are you ready, Jeff?
I mean, I may need help in a minute. Hold on.
Yeah.
Continue. All right.
All right. Well, let's watch.
Except Nick's.
All right. WDW version.
Awesome.
Sure. I mean, how does that work over there? Do you
It
go
works-
from Tomorrowland to Fantasyland?
We're gonna go from Fantasyland to Tomorrowland.
Okay, so it does the same then from like Disneyland. Yeah. Okay.
So,
Yeah.
okay, watch the acceleration as we get up to the top of the first hump. Notice how it's really fast.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like trying to climb up to this thing.
Right. To get up to like altitude, if you will.
Yeah.
And then we're now
you're
level.
at level. Yeah.
This one's more shaky.
Yeah. Come on. I want to turn the camera to turn this way.
Yeah, there's no 3D
Yeah,
cameras back then.
No.
It's kind of a straight shot here where the camera's looking forward, but
Yeah.
please note 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea is still very much in operation.
Is that over on the left?
Yes, that's still
Yeah.
left of the camera. Uh-huh.
Okay.
Now Little Mermaid.
Yeah, now Little Mermaid and Seven Dwarfs Mine Train.
Right. Mine Train would be
so
up that way.
two rides took over that lagoon.
Well, Be Our Guest, the restaurant took over. Little Mermaid with Ariel and Friends took over. Seven Dwarfs Mine Train took over. And a lot of plaster.
A lot of plaster. Isn't Winnie
A
the
lot of
Pooh right
plaster.
there?
So then,
Winnie the Pooh got taken over. Winnie the Pooh used to be Mr. Toad prior to 1996.
Wow. So that entire lagoon is gone now?
Yes. Off the face of the earth.
I hope Disneyland doesn't get rid of their lagoon. I mean, I really like it. Just the viewing. They can get rid of the subs, but just not the lagoon. It looks so cool.
Yeah.
Oh, the aesthetic. Right.
Yeah, aesthetic wise. Yeah.
Right. Okay, so you can see here we're about just under a kilometer in. You can see the turns coming up,
Oh,
which is kind of cool.
yeah. My camera is in the way.
Oh, okay. Right.
I gotta move my screen. There we go.
So we're going to start seeing the turn here in about another 50 meters, I think.
You know, even though it's a straight shot the whole time, it kind of makes me feel like I'm actually on it.
Yes. It's like a POV view.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wow, we're really close to those trees.
Yeah.
These trees never get cleared; they just get knocked off branches from the
chopped.
So
it goes down and then back up
three-story
again?
drop right here.
Yes. Right.
Oh, wow.
This is where it's going to make the turn. And this is right where the Tomorrowland Speedway is, on the back end.
You kind of hear the cars
you can hear them. You can hear them down below. But you see how it's making the turn around in the. It's like a kind of a quasi station here, and it's making that 90-degree turn to the right.
Wow.
That's the coolest part.
Now
of the
you're going over it now to Autopia.
And now it's going to accelerate back up.
Yeah, you got to. Wow, that's a steep climb.
Yes, very. And then we're going to make the final approach into the Carousel of Progress Theater, where the station is.
So there's one thing I already noticed between the two is in Disneyland's there's way more to see.
You guys are always rapping on Disney World, man. Like,
depends on what you're seeing. I think this is a better ride.
It's just more spaced out, I think, is what.
Yeah, you guys are just looking for a reason to.
No. I'm when you're going into Fantasyland, you see all the teacups, Dumbo.
Well, that's what I mean. They're more spaced out, and
yeah.
But
so where's this ending?
This is going to end where the Carousel of Progress is.
Okay.
Now, so they have like a miniature version of Carousel Theater in Tomorrowland, and the Skyway station is just on the back end. And we're coming to it right now.
So where would Tron Light Cycle be in terms of
That's on the other side of Space Mountain.
Oh, okay.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that guy wasn't looking for a second.
Yeah, he's like, hey, turn around.
Back in the face.
Well, that's pretty cool.
But yes, that's again, it's that turn, that 90-degree turn is so damn cool.
It's neat how
and
you
it's
go
weird how it
down.
drops and then it turns and then it goes back up and then descends into the station.
When you said it does a 90-degree turn, I thought it was in flight. It doesn't have to go back down and come back up again.
I mean, they probably could have done it up there, but
yes, they could have, but I think they wanted access to the machinery to do the turn, and it'd be a lot easier to have it at ground level as opposed to having it 10 meters up in the sky. Right.
Yeah.
And I mean, those going up and down didn't seem to have any effect. I mean, it's got the power to do it, so why not? You know?
Absolutely. Because you're using, they have the electric system they use to pull the reels, but they have like the 12-cylinder diesel generator backup to get people off in the event of a power failure.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
And that thing is, I've only heard it once, and that thing is like louder than a doggone ship motor going off. You know what I mean? And like literally, like if you're near it, and I've been like, oh gosh, about maybe 300 meters away from it, and it sounds like at the source, it's well over 120 decibels in volume, enough to blow your
That's
eardrums
loud.
out.
Yeah, that's loud.
Yes, very loud.
So,
Like a rifle bullet going off,
Yeah.
but sustained rifle bullet going off.
Yeah.
So it's like loud as
you,
hell.
you seem to have a vast knowledge of a lot of things. What actually do you do? Or if you don't mind.
Oh boy, right. So I'm currently in manufacturing.
Okay. I
So
figured there's going to be
I work-
something around there.
Like they literally sent me to Europe. They sent me to Asia. And while I was there, I availed myself of the opportunity to visit Disney parks in Japan and France.
So I see you got a Rockin' Daisy shirt, which I think
Yes.
you don't see a shirt like that often. And I see some other characters. So you're rocking some mainline characters. Just what does your shirt mean to you? And what does I see? What's up with the Daisy? And I think it's tell me. I gotta know.
So I'm like a huge fan of Sensational 6. In fact, I'm going to show you just how sensational they are. Right. So this is what I'm wearing on my foot right now. You see?
Yeah.
It's the entire Sensational 6. Now,
Oh man.
Now my sweatshirt again has the Sensational 6 on the sweatshirt.
Yes.
I'm kind of a big fan, Jeff.
Yeah, I agree.
Kind of a big
I
fan.
agree.
In fact, wait, I don't know if you can see her. Wait, do you see?
That's
That's Minerva on my wrist right there. You know what I mean? So yeah.
I was hoping you would say that. I'm a big fan too of this. Is like the 6. Daisy is like front and center, and we for my honeymoon over a year ago. Oh my gosh, my wife Hannah and me, like we went to Disneyland for our honeymoon, and like Daisy was on a lot of stuff, and I'm like, oh my man, it was so cool to see Daisy on stuff. And I'm like, Daisy.
Well, when you see her in the park, it's also special because
she's one. I love it. Yeah. I love it, man. And just that Sensational 6. I was like, Disney Fab 5. I'm like, nah, I like the 6. I'm always up for that. The more you can add to it, the better. And I think Disney needs to embrace the 6 the most. And
Yeah, because when she's walking around, everybody's like going after her to take pictures and stuff. Because
it was good that they added her on the Runaway Railway as well.
Yes,
better because she's a prominent. And also she balances.
Goofy's Runaway Railway.
Yeah, I know. It's called
so
Mickey
funny,
and Minnie's, but it's actually Goofy's.
Yeah. So like, if you talk about like character development, like there's always someone like Pete. All right. So who in Goof Troop, Pete was historically just a, he was a Bart who balanced Pete out. Peg, who was, oh my gosh, what was her name? Oh gosh, it was the daughter of the voice of Tigger. Yeah, she was brilliant, wonderful, great, perfect voice to match someone like Jim Cummings, who's just awesome. But that sort of like brought Pete as a character from a villain to just someone who's just kind of a pain, like the nosy neighbor next door. And that was wonderful to bring that character into that development. Well, Donald is sort of somebody who left on his own is not He's very mad. I can't do Donald very well. But like he's mad all the time. He's angry, and he needs to be brought back into a place of just something, and Daisy does that. And Daisy is that perfect character that just takes Donald's personality. I love there's my favorite is the new DuckTales where they meet each other and he's like, ow! He's like singing and she's like, I think it's really beautiful. And then they kind of like love each other in this weird way. But then she's a badass. Oh my goodness. She's of course, she's just as sort of like Donald is like an angry, feisty. Well, she's angry and feisty too in her own way. And I think it's so beautiful how they're both kind and loving to each other. They balance each other out. Man, that's good storytelling. And I love Daisy.
If you've seen the short Mr. Duck Steps Out 1939 or 1940, we get to see the dark side of Daisy for the first time.
Oh.
And we see that Daisy is completely unhinged when provoked. Just like Donald is. We see that they both become completely unhinged.
I don't know if I've seen that. I'm gonna go look it up.
I love that.
Just to let you know, so
hey,
the
I'm
new
okay with that.
DuckTales isn't the first time we have not seen that we've seen the dark side. It's the dark side goes back to the
dark
30s.
side of Goofy. So Goofy,
Yes.
my whole thing, and if I've had a podcast before where we talked about, I'm like, if you think of the Goofy, like in a Goofy movie, who's the villain? It's actually Goofy. He's the antagonist, right?
I don't.
So if you
No, I disagree. I disagree. If there has to be a villain in the Goofy movie, it's Max.
Oh,
It's Max is the villain. Max is completely the villain because he's a selfish child.
Yeah,
that has to impress Roxanne by going to Los Angeles and doing the thing with Powerline. We've already had the conversation about how cool Powerline is and how we wish that there was more Powerline at the parks. And we wish that there was more Max and Powerline at the parks. We've had this conversation. But my point being is that if we're talking about a villain, it's Max. It isn't Goof. Goof is trying to reconnect with his child. Goof is trying to be the best father because there isn't a mother for whatever unspecified reason.
And I agree with you.
And of course, he's trying to be a dad, and Max is like, no, I'm a grown man. I'm going to do as I please.
So I agree with you 100%, but I also think that's where the narrative sort of like, who is the antagonist? I think that might make a Goofy movie such a beautiful. There's where I think it is Goofy because he is the roadblock to Max. So when you say, okay, when you think of classical storytelling, and you're like, all right, who's the main character and what's their journey? Well, you already know it. But then what's the roadblock? Well, Goofy's the roadblock. So I agree with you. Like when we think of like, man, Max really was sort of the villain, but Goofy, this is what we're going. Someone who studies Goofy. Goofy has a shadow side. Now,
yes, he does.
And you can see it. So there's times where Goofy is moody.
Yes.
No, he doesn't say just things like he goes. There's a hint of judgment sometimes in Goofy's voice where he goes, okay, and that
like when they wreck the car. When they wreck the car, we get to see Goofy being morose. Absolutely.
Well, you were just it's like you just wanted to be. Well, I was just trying to see, like I just want to be part of it, like your life. Well, I was just trying to be part of it, and that's where Bill Farmer's own voice comes out because Goofy's shadow side is he's moody. You also see it in Goofy's whatever or Disney's something Christmas where it's like Santa Claus, where Goofy's he's trying to mimic. He's Santa Claus, but then he's like Goofy's moody, and that's the shadow side, the dark side of Goofy. So he can be a villain sometimes, and the shadow side of Goofy is he's moody. He can be very judgmental. He's and he's explanatory. He's always, well, I know what's best. He's proud. sometimes Goofy's like, let's say, Maxie boy, let me tell you, I don't know, but I'll tell you better. You know, it's like, you say this, but I know what works better because that's how us goofs do. He's very proud. And I think in a Goofy movie, like sometimes these characters that we love, I love seeing their shadow sides. I love seeing these moments where, because it makes them interesting. It makes them, like, even with Goofy, I'm like, I don't want to just be Gord. I don't want a Goofy movie, you know, when he was moody and like, there's times I agree with Goofy, there's times I don't. Like, sometimes I agree with Max, sometimes I don't. And I think you're completely right. Like, I think sometimes Max was the villain, and then sometimes Goofy is. And I think that's the point of a Goofy movie and that's where that reconciliation comes in at the end, where
The fact that
you both sing a song together, and they're
the
like,
fact that you can both agree to disagree about the same thing, like,
yeah.
you know, I mean, that's like a good storytelling right there, which
Oh,
is
yes.
a lot of their new
So
stuff
good
doesn't
story.
have.
Oh, it makes me tear up. It's so
It makes me.
freaking good.
I got to go watch that movie.
Oh, it's so
You haven't
good.
watched
I've never seen it.
What?
For
And
real?
we're still
For
friends?
real?
Yeah,
Well, I've never
Oh.
seen it, Les, so you can go watch it.
My,
Jeez.
I'll see you guys later.
Yeah, he's gonna go watch it right now.
Put him out. Orange. We'll see you later. Man, when you come watch my
well,
movie,
if
if
you do that, Steve, you definitely need to see Extreme Goofy movie right next to it. Like, watch them back
All
to
right,
back.
back to back.
Because Extreme Goofy movie, in my opinion, is just as good as the Goofy movie.
Really? Tell me.
Yes.
Like, bridge that gap, because I struggle with that as someone who loves
Because we see Goofy, we see a very more personal side of Goofy in Extreme as opposed to the Goofy movie. Like, we see that he is, I know it's going to sound goofy as heck, no pun intended,
That's
but
okay.
we see that he's a man. And we see that he's a man with hopes and goals and dreams. And this is the first time
For
we
himself.
ever see it on film. You know, because he got Max to State College. And then, you know, Pete says, well, in order to keep working here, you got to get your education.
Yeah.
So he has to go to State College and finish that last semester of his, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's where he meets the librarian.
Yeah.
And then
Who's my wife is a librarian, by the way, just so you know.
You know
Just
what I
a
mean?
Coincidence.
You know, like the whole dance sequence where they're using CGI for some of the first times they ever do in a Disney film, other than like Aladdin and Little Mermaid and I think Beauty and the Beast. They also use the computer graphics to highlight the dance sequence, which is the best part of the movie, in my opinion.
Yeah, it is.
By far the best part of the movie because it's so detailed.
It is. It's true.
And it's gorgeous. I mean, in its concept and its output. I mean, it's just the best part of the whole movie. Also, we can talk about Beatnik Girl and Pete Jr.
Mm-hmm.
Which is also cool because finally Pete Jr. gets out from under the shadow of his old man and he's allowed to become his own man. And he's able to develop this relationship with Beatnik Girl, who is arguably one of the coolest Disney characters ever made. Just
I know.
Cool points.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
Because she's on that whole nother level, you know?
Yeah.
So, you know, because I mean, who was a beatnik in the 90s? Nobody. She was. She was. And she was cool like that. And she did very well.
Like, I gotta look up her voice. I'm like, who did her voice? That's some, but we gotta keep him on more often because this is this is great. This is good conversation.
I can't believe I've never seen this because it's from 1995, a Goofy movie.
Yeah,
Like,
dude,
wow.
you've never
Extreme is
seen
in
a Goofy
1999.
movie?
Yeah.
You've known me for over a year and you've never watched a Goofy movie. Oh,
And then
I rewatched it.
Goofy
because of
Extreme is
Play,
from
Max,
2000.
wait up. You forgot your lunch.
Yeah.
Have a good day.
All right, it's in my queue now. So
it's a great lead in to the continued adventures of the Goof family in House of Mouse. So if you remember House of Mouse, great show by the way.
Yeah.
That and again, that's the reason I love the Sensational Six, is because House of Mouse was on TV for so long.
Yeah.
And who did the House of Mouse feature? The Sensational Six. Every episode. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know.
And
I'm with you.
And it's like the continuing adventures of the Goof family, including Roxanne, who's still part of the overall bigger family into House of Mouse.
Yeah.
And it's, I wish that Walt Disney Television Studios would do more with the Sensational Six in the modern day.
It's been a struggle from day one.
Instead of making all these new things.
It's been a struggle even when the Goofy movie was made, and all like Disney Afternoon was taken off, and I've been listening very closely to Jim Cummings' new podcast, and he has like a whole hour of like talking about Goof Troop, a whole hour talking about Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers, his whole experience. You know, it's such a
Darkwing Duck, all of it, right?
Oh, all of it. And it's so
awesome.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I'm just such a fan. And but goodness, like, you know, yeah, I mean, that was what a snapshot, and voice acting. And this is what bothers me. It's not that I've talked to a lot of voice actors. I'm on a couple other podcasts, and I've talked to other voice actors that are like been prominent in the Disney world, and I've kind of slipped in there and been like, well, what are you afraid of? Like, is it AI? Is that the thing that we're all scared of? Because I want to know as an amateur, I'm like, I've been voice matching Goofy. Oh my goodness, like I probably hours in a week. I dive deeper and deeper and deeper. And I told Bill, when I met Bill Farmer himself, I was like, Bill, I'm just letting you know, there's nobody in this world that studies your voice as hard as I do, you know, and that's the truth, because it's been for years, and but I'm like, but maybe you just type in Bill Farmer and it's better than I am. Well, that's
not right now. 5-10 years, maybe, but
yeah, but that's still that it is what it is. But then. You know, I said, well, what's the other thing? People, modern day voice actors aren't scared of that. You know what they're scared of is like the way it's just our voices are just outsourced to celebrities. Like nobody actually cares about voice acting anymore. You know, it's just like,
even if they had like an AI, you would have to like program where those nuances should go, and that's
but now nobody actually cares about matching the voice.
Well,
that's the problem.
Wait a minute. So, Jeff, you're saying that eventually Goofy's going to get replaced by Brad Pitt?
That almost happened. Yeah.
I mean, I don't mean to be foolish, but it's a genuine question. Like, are you saying that eventually he's just going to have Brad Pitt's voice?
Yep. And
that's
I
stupid.
hope not.
That's stupid.
I hope not. But that almost happened to Bill. So when Bill was threatened when he was doing a Goofy movie, they're like, we'll get Jim Varney do the voice.
No.
So he came in, he's Goofy, and so when Bill talks about doing the voice acting for a Goofy movie, you know, it's part of it is like, well, it's very loving and kind because that's when I met Jason Marsden. It's when, you know, but also they shut it down, and because there was somebody that was like, well, they wanted to replace him with Jim Varney, Ernest. No,
Slinky Dog. They want to replace him with Slinky Dog.
Yep. And he was going to be the new Goofy. And then I think Michael Eisner actually finally came in the studio. It's like, what's going on here? Hey, everyone, what's going on? I just want to check in. And like, well, here he goes, what's going on with the Goofy movie? No, don't replace that. No. That's not what we do here. Like, he had to put
that sounds like what they're doing today, like letting the directors like change stuff without actually getting permission or something, on. You know? Yes. It's weird.
So then they're like, okay, everyone. So Bill actually had to go back because they kept trying to get him to record in his own voice. Like, "Hey, Maxie, wait up! You forgot your lunch." You know, and, which really is like, "Oh gosh, Maxie, wait up! You forgot your lunch." Like, have a good. Like, you want that goofy thing.
Right.
They told him he's too
Mhm.
cartoony.
That's the point.
Yeah,
But then
point.
but they made it in the they met it in the middle, and that's where my goofy voice comes in that space because you know if you want to know like my entire goofy voice, I know Bill, I've studied Pinto Kolvik, I've studied Tony Pope, like I've studied like the big I've studied goofy voices. But what is my goofy voice? It is Bill Farmer Goofy Movie. That is it. That is my foundation. Then it goes Goof Troop because Goof Troop he's a lot more dynamic and a lot more. But then like they made him act. They made him act in a Goofy Movie. It wasn't just acting. It was good voice acting, and that was like that hot tub scene. When he's with Pete, he's like, "Oh, I don't believe you." Never hear Goofy say something that low and so. Well, I don't believe you, Pete. Just so low and so like.
Yes. Just like the cars, the car scene in the river.
Yeah.
When we get to hear the very low tones of Bill Farmer, literally expressing his displeasure at Maxie for wrecking the car.
Yes. Yeah, and that makes is difference between voice acting and voice acting, and that was.
Oh man, now I know he ruins the car.
Well, it's a Tigger movie is another great example. When
it's just a car, Steve.
Okay,
it's just a car, man.
When Tigger in the Tigger movie, where he's just like he's out in the middle with Rue, and he's just like, he's frustrating. He just breaks. That's.
Yeah, but to try to replace the silliness of Goofy, who's known for these voices and these yelling and whatever, like that's dumb.
Well, now they don't care about that stuff. Now it's just about what's marketable and I don't know. I have no idea what lies in the future of voice acting, especially as an amateur. But
okay, so Jeff, have you seen Wish yet?
No.
Okay. Well,
I feel so bad.
I recommend that when it becomes available, or you can get to your local cinema, whatever one comes first. I highly recommend you watch this film.
Tell me more.
While there's a lot of celebrity voice acting in Wish, I'm going to tell you, Chris Pine as the villain. Yeah. It can't be anybody but Chris Pine. Chris Pine is perfect. Like, absolutely
and I'm for
perfect.
that. Yeah. If you bring up a good point, and the good point is that I'm not against. Sometimes the reason why normal actors are cast because they're good voice actors and actors. So voice actors like, will stay in your lane. It's like that's not true. That's not true. A lot of reasons why regular actors are cast is because they're really good voice actors, and I have no problem with that whatsoever. I think, I'm like my great cousin Pat Buttram. He was an actor before he was a voice actor, and so but he had such a unique voice and delivery where he became the voice. So I'm all for that, and I am actually
By the way,
excited to see that movie.
I love your cousin in Hot Lead and Cold Feet. Great character. Big fan of the movie. Sorry, guys, I got to say it again. Like, I love that movie. Hot Lead and Cold Feet. I wish Disney Plus would get it today.
Well, I have to admit, he's not a direct cousin. So he's a cousin of a cousin, probably, but not true. I grew up my whole life like, that's your cousin. Like my great grandma was like, he's part of our family, and I never met him. I've met other people that met him, but to me, that's what got me just roped into voice acting. It was like, oh my goodness,
direct inspiration.
Yeah. And so I want to be fair. I don't want to be like, oh, that's my cousin. It's like, it's not. I'm like, it was a great.
You have a cool
Yeah.
cousin. I'll be the first one to tell you. You have a very cool cousin.
Okay.
I love what he did in Hot Lead and Cold Feet. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, I have his autograph. Apparently, it's right here.
Wow.
Apparently, that's his, like, good old Pat.
Oh yeah. There it is.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, he's young
Cool.
there.
Yeah. No, I talked to Bill.
It's like-
I've talked to Bill about him. I've talked to a lot of people about, what it was to meet him, and those have been really kind stories to me because, in my own narrative and my own family story like that, just knowing that he was, that sparked when you're 10 years old and you're like watching Robin Hood and you're like,
Yes.
oh wow, I'm sort of related to this guy. It was just so, I used to leave messages, on my own answering machine, like if you'd like, if you want to leave a message, then just in Pat Buttram's voice, and then people would call and be like, so I don't know who this old lady is that yeah. But it was sweet. It was kind, and I don't know, it's part of my story. So it's just nice to to hear these stories again, and there's been people that have, not just Bill, but there's been other people that I've got to meet that have met him, and it's been really cool. Really cool.
Excellent.
You could do what's that cameo service where people ask you to like say something or do whatever. Like
You could be
I don't know.
cameo goofy.
yeah.
Yeah, no, I could. But I don't want to charge. That's the only problem. I do it for free. So I do that a lot. But I do it for free. I'll never charge for a voice.
Yeah. Well, that's cool.
I mean, I will if it's like,
If Disney's paying the bill.
yeah, if Disney's
So-
putting the bill, yes, I will. But if
So Jeff, can you sing in Goofy's voice?
mhm.
Like you can sing an entire 3-4 minute song.
Man, I just felt like the sparks flying right there.
No, I can. No, I can.
Animal.
Yeah, whatever you want. Whatever you
Well-
want. Like I can.
Again, it goes back to the foreign language thing.
Okay. Yeah. No, I
So,
can.
wow. Okay. We'll have to talk later because
Yes, sir.
I have a project for you.
Okay. It'd be a
Wow.
good thing. Yeah.
He sounds just like you when you're like when I do the the walking voice and you're like, oh, I gotta get you on,
Yeah.
But
Wow.
Louis, you were talking about Chris Pine, and I'm wondering, did they have him as a first choice, or did they go through other actors? Like, I'm kind of curious on that now.
So my knowledge as to how they cast Wish was they wanted it to be very ethnically diverse. They wanted to cast to be very ethnically diverse because, have you seen the movie yet, Jason?
I have not. I
Okay,
want to.
recommendation: please see it.
Yeah.
That's all. I'm
Okay.
gonna
Okay.
say. It's a great film. So it's a very ethnically diverse cast, and Aisha, who's the princess in this film, is played by an African American voice actress, and it's a really weird film because it takes place in the southern Mediterranean, like near North Africa or Corsica, like Sardinia. If you know anything about the Mediterranean.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so, granted, that part of the world, like especially in the Middle Ages, was ethnically diverse because you had Moors and you had the people from the Levant or Arabs, and you had Berbers from North Africa, and then you had the Europeans. And so Chris Pine is cast as Magnifico,
Yeah.
who is the sovereign of the island where all these people live, right? And the reason he's sovereign is not because he found it first, but because he's a very, very powerful wizard or sorcerer. He's like the king of the sorcerers. And he has all this knowledge of magic. And so what he does is he takes people's wishes when they become 18 years old. There's this big ceremony where he collects all these wishes, and he decides from all the people that turn 18 that year, he's going to grant somebody's wish.
Wow.
For real, like using magic to grant their wish. But he's very, very weird about it.
Yeah.
And he's very, very nebulous on how he makes up his mind. And all is not right. That's all I'm going to say about that. All is not right. And so it's up to our hero, Aisha, to figure things out. To me, it's a great film. I mean, you know, it's something that's been pissing me off since the rise of TikTok culture is that for every good review of a Disney film, you're going to have 35, 45, 55 negative reviews of the same film.
Yeah, and I bet
now I get it. Now I get it.
of those people probably never even seen the movie.
I'm biased. I get it. I'm an unabashed, unapologetic Disney fan, and will be until I no longer draw breath. I got that. You know what I mean?
But I'm like, when you're asking me if I've seen
you
it,
say
like,
Brett?
Huh?
Wait, I didn't hear what you
Breath.
said.
Breath. Because I no longer draw breath. Yes.
In order, you know, for us, we talk about these movies. We are Disney fans. We should be seeing these movies, especially if we're going to talk about them. Like, I see a lot of people talking about the movie, but I've never
see
seen
them all. I don't care. I got nothing better.
But I'm saying, if you're going to go talk about it, especially negative, you should go see it first.
I think you should give it at least the benefit of the doubt and go in there and spend the 90 minutes, 120 minutes, 125 minutes to see it. Absolutely. Sure.
I've heard, like, especially about Indiana Jones and Little Mermaid.
The Dial of Destiny?
Yeah. There was a lot of things that were talked about, and when I saw the movie, I'm like, that's not really, you know, that's not true.
But then there's stuff I like, and that's what bothers me. I'm like, man, I can't be a hater on one end. I can't be, but then that's what makes good, honest discussions good and honest. Because
I heard so much negativity about Indiana Jones, and when I saw it, I'm like, it's not as bad as everybody says.
It's not that bad. No,
it's not great, but it's not that bad.
No, it's like
I mean, it's Spielberg. How bad can you get?
Yeah, I mean,
Spielberg doesn't make bad movies. He don't.
Sure.
Sorry.
Sure he doesn't.
End of discussion. You know what I mean? Name me a bad Spielberg movie, please, and we'll dissect it. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean the previous,
you're talking about
the whole alien thing.
Now you're talking about aliens again. You're about to get me off.
Here we go. Full circle.
Only that part. The rest of the movie was fine, but that ending part, it was the. I can take it
wasn't as bad
but are they really aliens? Because the
they're
way it's explained, they're interdimensional.
Yeah.
Yes.
Interdimensional.
Yeah.
Right.
It could be interdimensional, not extraterrestrial. That's
exactly. So
you don't know.
That's where I'm going to go with that. You know what I mean? Is that
I don't technically were they from this planet, or I don't know. If
they're from a different dimension. Like
alien.
it doesn't describe that.
Interdimensional. Exactly.
Right. Well.
And I mean, and because you're a Marvel fan, Jason, you're all about the multiverse. You know what I mean? I mean, example like the recent Doctor Strange film, right? It talks all about the multitudinity of the multiverse,
right?
And about how distinct each dimension in the multiverse is. You know, or like another series that I love that a lot of people have been talking bad about is She-Hulk. I love She-Hulk. I did too. Great series.
No, I love
funny as all get out.
It was like a 70s sitcom about Rhoda, or no, what's the one where she throws her hand? What is not Rhoda? Is it Rhoda?
Mary Tyler Moore.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
That felt like that sort of. It felt like the tropes from Mary Tyler Moore. But
really, I got
to a superhero genre. That was fine.
I got Perfect Strangers when I watched She-Hulk.
Get out of the city.
I love Perfect Strangers. Love that.
Just saying. And the funny thing is, Mark Lynn Baker plays She-Hulk's dad. So yeah.
Oh really? He's in it?
Yeah. No,
I've never seen it either. That's another one I haven't seen.
Actor of them all.
Oh, Steve, what's going on?
I know.
You have Disney Plus. What's going on? Man?
Yeah, I know. I'm in the garage.
Yeah, Steve's building.
I'm building.
I'm building at my desk, so I have a.
Oh man!
All right, so now I got
That's
Goofy movie, Extreme Goofy.
Okay. Well,
She-Hulk.
I guess you can just watch it when you have to, but.
Was there anything else I need to say? Oh, Wish. Another. Indiana Jones.
only in the cinema so far, but I'm sure it's going to be coming to D plus anytime. Sure.
Yeah.
I forgot. There was somebody was like getting angry with She-Hulk actress. What's her
Please
name?
don't make me angry. You wouldn't like me when I'm angry.
You're always angry, Steve. That's
I know.
Tatiana.
Ollie.
Whatever.
That's not.
Yeah, no.
Holly. No, but somebody was like yelling, like getting pissed off because they're saying like she's a bad actress, and I'm like, have you seen Orphan Black?
She's not a good. She's not a bad actress.
She's a
at
great
all.
actress.
Yeah, she's
And
fine.
you could see that in Orphan Black. She plays all the different clones, and
Yeah.
it's insane.
I'll call
Tatiana
stuff
Maslany.
out.
Yeah,
Yeah,
she's
she's
great.
fine. She's great. Yeah.
I mean, maybe they're not. Everybody can agree that She-Hulk was great storytelling or whatever, but you
I
can't
think
say
it's
she's a
hard,
bad actress.
people. Like it's not as easy
No.
as you think. Like
Right.
actually, it's actually a lot easier than you think. But it's easier than you think to a point. That's the problem with acting. Acting is easier than you think to a point. You're like, because everyone that starts acting just overacts. Like, don't overact. But then everyone underacts. It's like, can you just give it some
Bring it
heart?
up a little bit. Bring it up a little bit.
Yeah. And then
Right.
when someone, the reason, like, she's fine. She did great.
Yes.
There's nothing, it's fine. She's good. She's a great actress.
Right.
Like, I don't understand the problem. She's not underacting, not overacting. Oh my
Right.
goodness. Oh my gosh. Like, it's not, it's not, she's fine. She's fine.
Now that would be cool to see Goofy on She-Hulk. That would be very cool.
Well, don't make me angry. When would like me? When
A
I'm
green skinned Goof. That would be the best.
What's happening to me?
That's
Pete version.
That's like
when I'm
wasn't there a House of Mouse episode when like Goofy transformed into a beast
I
and
would love to see.
it became like absolutely wild
I had no idea.
and like we saw the calamity result from it. Oh, I think so. Like he got a hold of some serum or something and
oh my gosh.
it was like Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. It was crazy.
Oh my god, I gotta watch that. Because that's
Oh.
Bill just like going crazy,
Yes.
having
It's
fun.
like Bill next level. Yes, I agree.
Lord,
Yeah, sure.
oh, what's this? I think I'll take a drink.
And that would be like that would literally be like a green skin Goof. You know what I mean? Which would be cool.
See, you're making them turn into Pete.
I know. It's like, hey, Max, you forgot your lunch. Have a good day. So,
Wild. Wild.
who's that power line feller?
This has been a fun episode.
Yeah, of the
Oh,
sky
good.
buckets.
Good.
Yeah.
And it all
These
comes
are
back
great
to
sky
sky buckets. Yes.
It's just awesome to see you guys interact and like you're both like even on your love for Goofy, you know.
I know it's such a pleasure. I
Yes.
and I
Big fan,
had no
big fan.
idea what a pleasant supplies.
Supplies.
Supplies. No more,
Pleasant
nothing wrong with that.
Supplies.
No. Well, what a great cast. What a great
Indeed.
cast. It's so fun to. Yeah,
Hey, not,
I remember.
you finally
like,
get
in
to
the
meet
comments,
Louie.
Louie. I was like, oh my gosh. And then I'm like, the Louie. It's always like Louie's always been in my head as the first. You know, I don't get to interact with people that often. Like
Yeah, it was during a
assume
live
it
stream,
will
wasn't it?
in the future.
Yeah.
Yes.
Grow and stuff, but it's just so nice to have at that base level, just like, look, you know, somebody's on here that is with us, and it seems like
Yeah, it
somebody
was fun.
there, and it would, you know, and that's what, you know, Louie, like that's I could remember where I was, like, oh my gosh, like, interacting and just feeling like somebody else was on the podcast. So it feels so awesome to have Louie here in person. It just feels like family.
Yeah.
Feels like family. And it felt like family then. It felt like family then too. So
Well,
Yeah, I'm glad we got you on, Louie.
yeah.
yeah.
Thank
What
you,
an
Stephen.
honor.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I don't know about
All
honor. I mean, but yes.
Well, we're almost approaching 2 hours here. So
All right.
probably
Oh,
a
wow.
good time to
It's
wrap
been
this
that
one.
long?
More.
Yeah.
Okay. It's time for me to go to bed.
All right, guys. So remember to like and subscribe, share with your friends and family, and let us know how we're doing. Let Louis know how awesome he is. Comment down below.
Or don't. It's all right.
No, you're awesome. We'll definitely have you back
Yeah.
at some point.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
for sure.
Sure. Why
And
not?
yeah.
And a good choice of ride that you
yeah.
picked. So
It's
Thank you,
actually
Stephen.
something I think, Steve, that you brought up because we did the People Mover at one time.
yeah. Yeah.
So yeah. But we'll see you on the next one.
Thanks everybody.